Ready.
Okay, guys, welcome back. This is still FourRoom Africa. Okay, so welcome back from the break. And we have Sibilele with us. Sibilele, please introduce yourself, Sibilele.
Okay, where do I begin? Okay, so my name is Sibulele. I'm an educator based in South Africa, Cape Town, and I'm a proud African, and I'm so happy to be part of this team. Yes, so you will hear more about me as we go on. But for now, just know that I'm Sibulele from Africa, but based in South Africa.
Okay, thank you. I'm still Evans from West Africa.
It sounds musical.
Sorry,
that's it.
Okay.
The voice sounds musical.
Oh, okay, all right. It sounded like a Black Mamba Zoo. Okay. And so I'm still Evans from Nigeria, West Africa. Okay, and can you introduce yourself, Desmond and Monday? Again.
All right, Desmond, Cameroon, Central Africa. Yeah, I'm a farmer, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, true African. Yeah.
From Kenya. Kenya is on the East African part. I am a proud African, but I hope to get a white man so I become an African American.
Oh, cool. That's a punch in the face, bro. A punch in the face.
I like your reaction. Just joking though. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. I am a STEM woman, a woman in engineering, and I hope that we will be able to have great discussion. And you can follow us, like us, and subscribe to our channel and ask questions that we can answer. Back to you, Evans.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, similarly, you're the last to join us, so you're going to be the one to talk more now. So now we are talking about Africans, okay? I mean, like, first of all, we started about, is Africa really about race and color? That was what we're talking about, and we were able to debunk that. And we also talked about what it means to be African American, or are you African, or are you American, or are you? So we'll come back talk about how does it feel to live with, white people, who identify as Africans in the same community, in the same country. How does it feel? Do you feel bad when you see them, or do you accept everybody as they are? Do you take them all to be Africans, or is there still that stigma there? Because okay, you answer that first, then I'll say the next thing. Yeah. So how does it feel? Because Wende said earlier that being African, it's about relating with the resources in Africa. It's not about skin color. It's about relating with the Africa, the culture, and the resources and the value. This one agreed with that. So for you, does skin color matter being an African, and how does it feel living in places like South Africa where you have whites with you and they all identify as, most of them, sorry, not all, are South Africans? Does it affect you people in any way, the blacks in any way? Does it matter? Does it matter at all? Over to you.
Thank you, Evans. Thank you for that question. It's a very important discussion. For me, I find it strange when people talk about a Black African. I think that's a very, very strange concept. You can never have a Black, like you can't have a white European. By virtue of being European, you are white. By virtue of being an African, you are Black. So there's no such thing as a Black African. You can have someone who's white and who claims to be African, but there's no such thing as Black African. African is Black. Let's begin with that. So if you talk about indigenous people of Africa, the sons and daughters of the African soil, those are Black people. Now, in answering your question, what we saw in South Africa in the early 70s was that there were a lot of people who are white who were invested into the Black struggle against apartheid. And there's a guy called Steve Biko. He came up with the concept of Black consciousness. And when he speaks about Black person using the Black consciousness philosophy, he says anyone who's Black, so being Black is not a matter of pigmentation. So it's not a matter of skin color. That's what Steve Biko said. So being Black is a matter of mental attitude. So if you are an African person invested in Africa, your entire being. Africa is your home. You don't see any other home except for Africa, and your work and everything is invested in Africa. Irrespective of your skin color, you are Black. And we call that definition the Biko Black definition. He even came up with a phrase called Black consciousness, that anyone who is conscious about being Black, who has a Black conscious, is therefore Black. That's one definition of being Black. I know that also in South Africa, we've got what is called constitutional Black. So anyone who was oppressed under apartheid, whether the Chinese, the Indians, the coloreds, and all of that, they form part of the constitutional Black. So we've got a policy called the broad-based Black economic empowerment, and it benefits anyone who's Black, Indian, colored, Chinese, basically anyone who's non-white. Okay, so those are considered Black. So I think the even Black is not our skin color, but Black is what was used to oppress us. We were called Black by them. We never said we are Black. Okay. They called us Black when they marginalized against us. So another thing that Steve Biko is calling us to do is to use that Blackness that is used against us to bring us together and be united in opposing the oppression that is aimed against us. So I think when you speak about what is an African, who is an African, it's a big debate, and it's not easy to answer because there's a lot of people who've been speaking about this. I can just cite one last person, the former president of South Africa, which is Thabo Mbeki. In 1996, when South Africa launched its constitution, he had a poem entitled "I'm an African." And in that poem, he explains how each and every person who is in South Africa, how they are part of the African identity. So he speaks about the Black people who've seen Africa in all its season, in all its weathers, and who've been part of this earth, of this soil of Africa. And then he speaks about the Indian people who came to South Africa solely because they could provide physical labor to the British. He speaks about the Malay people who were abused who were uprooted from their homes and came to work in South Africa. He speaks about all the different groups who are part of South Africa who are now considered African, but he begins with what he considers the children of the soil, those who are part and parcel of the weather, the environment, the earth, the soil of Africa. And those are people who look like me, that look like you. Those are Africans. If you go to France, you'll be a Nigerian French. If you go to America, you'll be a Nigerian American. You won't be purely American. There's always going to be a double barrel because you are not authentically American. You're not authentically European. And I think it's high time for us to recognize who are the children of the soil. And then who are people who joined us later, maybe as colonizers, as settlers, or whatever, but they are not children of the soil. They are not authentically African in that sense.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I think this is now more controversial here. Okay. Okay. So I don't want to spark further arguments because I know Mwende is ready to fire and Desmond is equally, he's a time bomb.